Episode 526. By the time the two of them had settled back into their seats, the first match of the singles competition was already nearing its end. The Blue Rain player executed a flawless, unstoppable combo, finishing off the tiny herb opponent and securing a decisive first victory.
Yes.
When Chen Guo sat down and saw this result, she started yelling at the top of her lungs. Yi Shu couldn't help but ask,
So, which side are you backing?
Whatever.
Then what were you yelling about?
I'll cheer for a good fight.
Chen Guo was utterly unbothered by the emptiness. The internet cafe was now a scene of disarray, leaving behind only a profound and desolate quiet. Even on a regular day, during peak hours like this, the place would never be this empty. Amidst the desolate emptiness, the only two people still watching the big projection were them.
A match without any stake in it, it just doesn't hold the same appeal.
So, which side are you rooting for?
I'm a professional. I watch matches with a researcher's eye. Take a look. These are all going to be our opponents down the line.
Ye Shu pointed at the screen, indicating the two professional avatars in the replay of the first singles match that had just ended. Chen Guo felt a spark of excitement ignite within her. The fact that Ye Shu had used the word we made her feel as if she too had just stepped into that lofty, elevated world of glory. The second match kicked off immediately. The whole internet cafe was still only paying attention to their game. Everyone else watching the competition was glued to their own screens, silently following Excellent Era's match. How could Chen Guo's heart be anything but troubled, seeing her internet cafe in such a state? Her happy internet cafe, located right across from the Excellent Era Club, had always been a favorite haunt for Excellent Era fans. As for Chen Guo herself, she was a die-hard Glory player and an Excellent Era fan, so, naturally, she turned the place into a hub for Glory players and Excellent Era supporters. And today, her actions had undoubtedly offended many loyal Excellent Era fans. It was a bit like shooting herself in the foot. Chen Guo felt a pang of unease about the road ahead. But she was never one to suffer in silence. Her feelings for Excellent Era had turned from fan to foe, and she had no intention of catering to its fans any longer. Call it an impulse or not, but if she had to do it all over again, Chen Guo believed she'd make the same choice. She was feeling a bit nervous inside, but she didn't want anyone to notice, so she was trying her best to look completely unconcerned. And then there was Yi Shu sitting next to Chen Guo, who was the picture of genuine, utter nonchalance. He sat amidst the mess, watching the match with complete disregard for his surroundings, and with obvious relish.
Nice shot.
Yi Shu suddenly shouted, startling the daydreaming Chen Guo so badly she nearly fell off her stool. Chen Guo, who had also been pretending to watch the match, didn't want to give herself away. She quickly fixed her eyes on the screen and chimed in.
Nice move.
Her attention returned to the match, only to see the tiny herb player now firmly in control, holding a clear advantage. Chen Guo had no way of knowing what exactly Ye Shu had just called out as beautiful. She couldn't very well ask, so she just waited patiently and watched as this tiny herb player secured his advantage and defeated his opponent. It was only during the replay of the highlights that Chen Guo finally understood what had prompted that earlier shout. The tiny herb player had been on the back foot, but they seized on a single mistake, executed a brilliant maneuver, and snatched the advantage in one fell swoop. That's what drew a cheer from a top-tier pro like Yi Shu. In the third match that followed, Chen Guo didn't dare let her mind wander again. But as she watched, her gaze inadvertently swept over Ye Shu, only to find that this time it was he who was distracted. He wasn't watching the projection. Instead, his gaze had drifted to the computer screen of a nearby customer, who was pulling up an online broadcast of the Excellent Era match. Chen Guo only needed a single glance to notice that Su Mu Cheng was the one representing Excellent Era in this match. The two of them immediately sat up straight before the projection screen, tilting their heads in unison to watch this Excellent Era match from a distance. Naturally, they were both concerned about Su Mu Cheng's outcome. In the end, Su Mu Cheng secured a beautiful victory for Excellent Era in this match. Their opponent, Ming Qing, was a bottom-tier team in the league, fighting tooth and nail just to keep their spot. Their players weren't strong, and their in-game avatars were relatively weak. On paper, the gap between them and a top-tier all-star like Su Mucheng was already massive. Su Mucheng's performance was steady, and she secured victory without facing any real challenge. The two impromptu spectators, having watched Su Mucheng's match, immediately turned their attention back, each now aware of the other's presence. Both men gave a light, awkward cough, about to say something, but then a net cafe attendant, finally fooled by Boss Chen's acting, decided the boss was uncharacteristically calm today. The cafe had nearly been torn apart, yet he didn't seem angry at all. So, mustering his courage, the attendant stepped forward to report the results of their post-battle cleanup.
Got it. Just clear out the broken stuff. We'll have someone come replace it tomorrow.
Chen Guo listened to the list of broken items, her voice utterly placid as she continued, unperturbed.
Out with the old, in with the new.
Is that supposed to be comforting?
Yi Shu muttered from the side.
No, just stating a fact.
At this point, the one-on-one matches between Tiny Herb and Blue Rain had also concluded. Tiny Herb won 2 matches, earning 2 points, while Blue Rain only managed 1 victory for a single point. Shen Guo watched all 3 matches with a distracted air, not a single detail sticking in her mind. After a brief intermission, the team competition kicked off, and the commentators and guests were instantly electrified. But when they got the lineup sheet, they spotted a new name on Tiny Herb Team's roster, Gao Yingji.
If I'm not mistaken, Gao Yingji had never played in an official match before the All-Star weekend, right?
The commentator said.
That's right. But I think we all still remember Gao Yingji's brilliant performance during the All-Star Weekend's Rookie Challenge. It seems his performance has finally earned him a solid spot on Team Tiny Herb.
The commentator seized the moment to launch into their own analysis.
The real question is, will Gao Yingji play in the final team match? We haven't received the team match roster yet.
If he can maintain the level of performance he showed at the All-Star Weekend, I think he could absolutely secure a starting position in the team competition as well.
Tiny Herb has really nurtured an incredible rookie.
It's true, at his age, there's no one else in the entire alliance who can go toe-to-toe with a top-tier god like Wang Jiexi, let alone actually beat him.
A single match win doesn't mean Gao Yingji has truly surpassed Wang Jiexi, but at his age with this level of skill, has the alliance ever seen a player like this before?
Clearly, the guest hadn't done his homework. When the commentator dug this pit, he couldn't fill it in and was left awkward laughing it off. Fortunately, the match had already begun, and the commentator smoothly picked up the thread, launching into the play-by-play.
Is that kid Gao Yingji really that good?
Yeah, he's pretty impressive.
What if it were you fighting him?
Yi Shu smiled without a word.
Well, spit it out.
You can't really say for sure until you see it in action.
So you don't have absolute confidence either.
In the pro scene, no one would ever claim to have a sure thing.
Oh.
I usually stop at 90%. Gotta leave a little room for error, you know?
Yi Shu added.
That left Chen Guo utterly speechless.